Hi, I'm Kirsten Quinn, a professor here at Community College of Philadelphia, and this is the Philadelphia Cultural Forum on CCP TV, Community College of Philadelphia's cable channel and educational channel. We're here today with the folks from Iron Age Theater, one of the most lauded theaters in the Philadelphia area. They're here from Norristown, and we have John Doyle here, who is the artistic director, one of the artistic directors of Iron Age Theater. We also have Adam Altman and Chuck Beishl. Hi guys, welcome to the channel.
Yeah, thanks for having us here
and
today.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at Iron Age Theater? I think that your mission statement is really unique to you.
Yeah, I think that Iron Age has sort of two different ways of approaching the theatrical experience. One is we have this real passion for social justice issues. So we care a lot about social justice and about the community, the sort of working man and human rights and dignity. And then there's this other end that is this improvisational technique of creation of theater. Randy and I, Randall Wise, my co-artistic director, and I are sort of like joined our tours. We do all the work in the company. So we are lights, sound, set, all of those components.
All of that.
Now that doesn't mean we don't bring people in for specific roles,
Sure.
but we sort of have our hands deep in all of those parts. And that includes during the co-directed process, this elaborate improvisational technique to develop character and backstory for actors.
That's really cool. How is it as actors to work in that process? What is that like for you guys as different from maybe other processes you've worked on?
Well, it's luxurious to have this extra time at rehearsal. And usually all of these improvisation exercises, getting into characters' minds and backstories, is usually left up to actors on their own rather than something that's worked on in a rehearsal process. Usually, if it is in a rehearsal process, you would see it more in like an academic setting than in a professional setting.
Right.
So it's wonderful to have that tool, and it's sort of one of the things I like best about it is it puts everybody on the same page. A lot of times improv exercises will be maybe a scene that is talked about in the play, but we don't actually get to see it. Well, the actors then work out that scene, maybe thinking they would do this.
Right.
But whatever happens, you can take whatever you want from it. Everybody at least has this same experience to pull from.
Wow.
So when you talk about something that has happened, it has happened, and you know what happened.
Right.
And so it gets everybody on the same page. I think that's what I like best about it in any case.
It's really cool. It seems like a transactional process and one that you guys have developed over the years and find it really successful and effective for communicating the social injustice component, the human condition component of your work. Could you tell us a little bit about the accolades that you guys have received? I know a lot of people don't like to talk or, tout themselves or toot their own horns, but you guys have had a lot of success in the years that you guys have worked. And from what I understand, you guys have been around for 25 years and have been working as a company for 20. So that's a huge accomplishment. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Randy and I started working together in grad school at Villanova, and when we left grad school, we made the decision to continue producing together. And so that made for 25 years of co-directed work, and we've been working as a team, and we do a thing or two here and there on our own, but the core of our work is together, and we really do take great pleasure in the back and forth communication between the two of us. I don't know how the actors feel, and I know it's not always seamless between us, but certainly there's a lot of information and it drives the experience. During 25 years of work and 20 years as a company, people are going to recognize you.
Absolutely.
And so we've been nominated for a couple of Barrymores. We've never had the luxury to win those awards, but we had an actor up for Jared McGlenigan up for his role in Elephant Man in our production. We are past two fall shows, our November shows, have been nominated for Barrymore's for Most Outstanding New Play.
That's fantastic.
And we were recognized for our ensemble for our work on Terra Nova. So it's been really good. And our association with the Norristown School District has given us some recognition for some educational programming, which is really very nice. And then, I mean, ultimately, for me, though, the biggest accolade is the fact that we're still around after all these years,
Absolutely.
producing exactly the kind of work we want to. I mean, we're a small company, a rep-oriented company working together. Our production of Marks and Soho is up to 240 performances across the country.
Wow.
Bob White,
That's
the actor
amazing.
playing that role, travels across the country. That, to me, is as big an accolade as an award we may have gotten.
Do you guys have a favorite role that you've played at Iron Age, or particular roles that you've played that really spoke to you and continue to?
I liked Pozzo.
Yeah, man.
And Waiting for Godot, I got to,
Yeah.
I played a character who I had somebody tied to a rope, about a 40-foot rope, and I bossed him around for the whole play, and that was a ton of fun.
That's always fun.
But I didn't, towards the end of the process, talking about the improvs and everything, they gave me an opportunity. They tied the rope to me and had Adam and one of the other actors drag me around through a few floors on our building.
Did you really?
Yeah, up and down the stairs.
great.
I think I still limp because of one of the injuries, but
Oh no, you've been injured a few times.
Every
in,
time.
In process.
Every time. It's intense. Yeah, the physical work that they have us do is really intense, and it's great because it really does put you in a position to be able to really, develop the character and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there's so many more layers
Yeah.
to the characters when you do that.
Yeah.
With vocal and physical work.
Yeah, our improv work is really intense.
Yeah.
So, one of the things we do is try to throw people into real environments.
Right.
When we did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, we actually had the whole cast, unbeknownst to them, leave the building in a van and go to Denny's and play their characters in the Denny's,
Nice.
ordering food. We had McMurphy taken away from them
And the
left
cops
them
didn't
alone.
come, right?
The cops
didn't
didn't
show up.
come,
that's
but we did have Nurse
good.
Ratchet go in and remove him. They had no money to pay for their food. And that experience was about what it means to really be that person.
Right.
We try and do things that just fringe on the real world when we can. And that's why we send them around the building instead of in the theater. So they can go anywhere they want while they're doing the improv work, and it becomes about real life, and you lose that actor self for a little bit of time, and that's
Right.
a powerful way to get them to learn about the character for real.
Absolutely. It sounds like a fascinating process, and I'm jealous. I think it's a great way to go. I mean, I really do. And so you guys are coming up on a big season now. You guys are going to be doing a lot this season. And tell us about Fringe Wraiths. What is that all about?
Okay, well, Chuck can hold up the Fringe
Yeah,
Wraith plaque.
throw up the sign here.
Fringe Race is an idea that we developed. A guy named Chris Brock, who's a local playwright and actor, and I have been talking a lot about the need to find a way to utilize smart technology in theater, like find a way to bridge it. And we made the decision that one way to do that would be to create pieces that people could access through QR codes.
Okay.
And our eventual hope is to develop an app itself for the smart devices that'll just do the work of the QR codes.
Okay.
And what we do is we shoot theatrical pieces. So the idea isn't to shoot movies, it's to shoot theater, and then post them online and have people be able to access them through the plaques. And we placed 23 of these plaques at 20 different productions around the Fringe Festival. We created pieces with playwrights who work with the company and actors. Adam was in a couple of these, Chuck was in a couple of these. And what they did, those pieces accented or augmented the actual play that they were placed at.
Okay.
And so it gave people an opportunity to have almost like a dramatic, dramaturgical experience in a relationship to the plays. And we did pretty well, actually. This was as much an experiment in, does this technology, is it actually viable to do?
Right.
And it appears to be so.
Yeah.
And if we get support from the companies we place them at, it's extremely exciting. So that's really what Fringe Rates is. It's a web of theater around Philadelphia.
That's really cool. I think I actually saw one of these plaques at the Shubin Theater. I went to see a show there.
Yeah, we had one at I Hate Monologues in the Alphabet Plays.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and that was actually what's probably my favorite piece we did. That particular piece.
Sean Close. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was that like?
You want to describe it?
It was Sean listing things he hated. Our friend Steve McLean wrote it as his sense of humor.
Right.
He's also a board member with Iron Age. Steve is. But Sean's just hilarious, and I think you'll see more of him around town as things go on.
Very good.
But very simple idea. Because part of the idea with Fringe Wraiths and doing this is we sort of had to think about short pieces, right? So a lot of playwrights find that tricky to,
it is tricky.
like, beginning, middle, and end, and you want it to be in 3 minutes. Like, well,
3 minutes. Okay.
Try it.
So can you tell us about what you guys are doing this year?
Well, we have a full list of shows we'll be producing. We're beginning our year with Voices of the People's History by Howard Zinn and Anthony Arnolf.
Okay.
It's a Philadelphia regional premiere, and we're doing it in collaboration with Plays and Players and with South Camden Theater Company.
Oh, okay.
So we'll perform one performance at each of our 3 venues with a generally stable cast, but there are some flexible special events at each of the places. Voice of the People's History is Howard Zinn's way of taking the book, People's History of the United States, and making it a stage piece, revolutionary voices speaking out from history, presented by actors. It's a powerful, interesting way for us to both accent our relationship with Zinn again, and to, again, stay with our social justice mission. And working with South Camden and Plays and Players has been fabulous. It's cool to sort of collaborate.
Right.
And then we're doing a play by Ray Saraceni, our second play by Ray Saraceni called Manna.
And he's your company member as
He's
well.
He's a company member as well. He's been working with us actually since almost our first production. He's been with us for the 20 years of the company, working with us. He was in Tunnel with us at Eastern State. It's a long time.
Yeah.
And so he's produced the second play, or it's actually his third play, but the second one we'll produce. It's called Manna. It's about an investigation into the Moai, the statues on Easter Island that happened in about 1914. And it's a story of these people on the island and the British people's struggle to, I guess, treat the, I don't even know what to say, to discover about, it's about the British people's attempt, these 3 British people's attempt to discover the meaning of those statues on the island, and also to discover about themselves. And there's a lot of emotional angst amongst the 3 characters in the play. In the spring, we're doing Moby Dick Rehearsed.
Oh, awesome.
So we're moving from a 3-person play to a 13-person play
cast, yeah.
by Orson Welles, this sort of hyper-theatrical production. We're really excited about it. We like classic literature. We like classic American theater. It has that sort of working class underneath it. It should be really exciting. And I think both of these guys will be in it with us. And then our annual Juneteenth event, which is a walking tour of downtown Norristown, and actually we're extending into Westchester this year, where we station actors around the town, and they each do an African-American piece of sort of historical dialogue that people take a tour learning those things, sort of a living museum in a way.
Cool. It sounds like a great season.
And it's a crazy season. It's diverse for sure. Yeah, and Randy and I sort of try and plan things that are meaningful to us, and then also will utilize the people we usually work with to the best of their ability.
That's great. That repertory feel, I think, probably creates that improv, based process that you guys were talking about. So we're going to see a performance from you guys today, and I want to get some setup for this. And if you guys could talk about it, or John, if you want to talk about it.
I'll start out and then I'll throw it
Okay.
to them. The scene's from Maroons, the Anthracite Gridiron, which is about the Pottsville Maroons, who are a team quite close to us, who played in the pre-NFL, beginning of the NFL, and they were robbed of the championship for some problems with Philadelphia bigwigs, essentially, is sort of what it comes down to. And Ray Saraceni wrote this play. It was nominated for a Barrymore for Best New Play. And the scene we're going to see, why don't you guys talk a little bit about the scene we're going to see?
Well, it's 2 characters, two football players, Duke Osborne and Tony Latone, and they're sort of sitting on the top of a hill overlooking a town, reminiscing. I think they've had a few drinks after a game, a little banged up, and Tony sort of goes down the rabbit hole with Duke asks him about his father. They start talking about his dad, and Tony Latone, the character that I play, was a really interesting guy. If you looked at the roster, like most of these guys were college football players, but this guy Tony was he was a coal miner, and he went into the coal mines when he was a kid. His father left home, and he just happened to be a real tough guy, and wound up playing football. I guess as much for the love of it as the money, because the money wasn't
not so great.
Not much, but the guy really loved to play football, and so I don't know if you wanted to add something to that.
Yeah, I'd say this is the scene where you actually get to find out what's Tony's deal, because he seems pretty angry most of the time.
Right.
But you get a little bit of an idea as to why.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a performance piece from Maroons.
Yeah, he was one crazy Indian. Hey, you know what he said when he got all his gold medals? King of Sweden says to him, you, sir, are the greatest athlete in the world. And he says, thanks, King. Just like that. Thanks, King. Son of a bitch.
Jim Thorpe's a hell of a ball player.
And one crazy Indian. Bastard threw me out of a window once because I tried to buy him a drink. He said that Canton was his town, so he would do the buying.
You know, you was lucky to play with him.
The crazy Indian, son of a bitch.
Terrible what they done.
Like I told Rock, only Rockefeller's allowed to make money. Somebody slips Thorpe a fin for throwing a baseball, they take all his medals away.
It ain't right, Duke.
No, it ain't right. Stupid. They get you, Tony. They get you.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, you know what his Indian name means?
What?
Bright Path. Ain't that something?
Huh. Yeah.
Bright Path. Makes you think.
Anyway, there ain't no more Indians, Duke.
No, there ain't no more Indians. Just us miserable sons of bitches.
Yeah. That was a hell of a thing you done. For the kid.
Barry's good face for the franchise. Nobody wants to look at our ugly mugs.
He's a football player. O'Hara said he wrapped up the league scoring title against the Packers.
4 touchdowns, single-handed.
Tough up front, too. Huh. I told him he looked like an altar boy.
I'm getting too old for this game, Tony. Sweet-faced kids and Ralph throwing the ball all over the field. All that strategy and misdirection. Pugs like us, we just find someone standing in front of us wearing a different uniform, and we plant the son of a bitch head first like a tree. That's a game we play, am I right?
Sounds like anthracite ball.
Amen. Amen.
I'm good. Well, I guess you better start thinking about that automobile dealership, huh?
Oh, it's going to be something, Tony. Me and Shaw have been talking about it for years. Just, big showroom, lots of glass and posters, and salesmen wearing silk shirts, expensive shoes, top notch.
Hey, what kind of cars are you going to have?
Oh, best of the best. Minervas and Oaklands, Maxwell mascots, whole floor full of automobiles. Folks will come from all over, just stand around and look at all them wheels. Pictured it 1,000 times.
That'll be something to see, Duke. The rest of the boys are headed down to Ginley's.
You can see old town from up here.
Looks different from when I was a kid.
Thought he wasn't from here.
I come down with my pop a couple of times. I know all about this place. You see that mountain over there?
Yeah.
That's the first place they discovered the hard coal. Over 100 years ago, some trapper comes through one night, and he lights a campfire. We damn near lit the whole valley on fire. Mammoth vein.
Lucky bastard hit the jackpot.
Yeah. I guess back in them days, the coal was just laying on the ground. Big heaps of black diamonds piling up under the trees, just waiting for you to come along and scoop it up with your hands.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah. Nowadays, we got drifts and slopes and shafts. Sorry sons of bitches like us going down in cages, blow it all to hell and drag it back up.
Why was your pop coming into town?
I think he was carrying on with somebody. Ma never knew nothing about it.
Hey, you seen Doc's wife yesterday?
Yeah.
Never's a looker, I'll tell you. Hey, you think your pop's still around?
I don't know.
You don't know.
He skipped town a couple years back. Ignatius, like the saint. He come over from Vilnius. I guess he just got tired of us. Tired of working. Tired of believing he was ever going to amount to a good goddamn. One time he says to me, he says, Tony, the American dream, she's a heavy dream. Guess he just got tired of carrying it.
You ever heard from him?
Somebody come by the house one night, said he got drunk and froze to death on the street in Chicago.
That's tough.
Ain't half of what I'd like to see. After Pop left, Ma had 48 hours to find someone to replace him in the mines. So I went. You know, one Christmas, he must have come into a couple of bucks. He got a bunch of little envelopes and put a quarter into each one. Presents for all of us, my brothers and sister. I was so excited. So I waited and waited, you know, big brother, so I opened mine last. And I tear open the envelope and it's empty. Ma and the rest of them are looking. There's nothing. Then my old man, he starts laughing. Laughing hard. His face is all red. And he pats me on the cheek. Puts on his coat and hat. And walks out the door. I could hear him laughing all the way down the street. Must have been some kind of joke. Who does that?
You know where he's buried?
If I knew, I'd dig him up with my own fingers and leave him for the crows to eat.
Wow, that was really, really powerful, guys. I'm really impressed with that. And you're really touching on a lot of contemporary issues as well as issues with family and father-son relationship and what it means to be at that place in your life. How was that for you guys working on that?
Well, I have to say that the scene is very powerful. It's probably my favorite scene in the play, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that it touches on relationships with fathers and sons that many of us deal with, and we're a pretty masculine company in a lot of ways, so the father and son issue is pretty raw for us, and I know for these guys that's part of what it's all about.
How about for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's one of those things where, you know, if you're the father of a son, you want to make this, you know, you want to make this kid tough, but without, you know, doing any real psychological damage, which is obviously what Tony's dad did to him. But yeah, it's a tricky scene. It's real deep, and you know, I have a 3.5-year-old son, and I couldn't imagine treating your kid, you know, like that. But
No.
but how do you toughen a kid up? You got to do something.
Right, and that's
I don't know,
some
stiff 'em on
father's
Christmas.
way, yeah, some parents'
You know,
way of doing that. Thank you so much for sharing that with
Sure.
us. And now we're going to take a look at a clip from Fringe Wraiths. And this is going to be really something different and new and exciting to watch.
You ever hear of Lysistrata?
Yeah, it's some kind of venereal disease, isn't it?
No. Lysistrata. She was a woman character in an old Greek play they're doing at the Rotunda. She started a sex strike to get the men to stop fighting a war that had been going on for nearly 30 years.
Sex strike? I know all about that. I'm married to you. She your role model?
Oh, yeah. And you and I, we're on our own war where we both get to sleep with the enemy.
You only sleep with me, so I'll talk to you.
You only talk to me so you can sleep with me.
You know that look? That look you get when you want sex? Me neither.
Sex? Ah, the pleasure is momentary and the position ridiculous.
Sex is like air. It isn't important unless you're not getting any.
You want to get more out of your brain, since it's your second favorite organ. I'm nothing but a sex object to you.
You are a sex object. Every time I ask for sex, you object.
That's because you've got 2 legs, 8 hands, and a filthy mouth.
Sex needs some old-fashioned 4-letter words to convey its full meaning.
You know, there are only 2 4-letter words that are offensive to you. Don't and stop. Unless I use them together.
But you never do. If it weren't for pickpockets, I'd have no sex life at all.
We used to be so happy. Then we met.
I have a great idea for getting some happiness back. Let's go out to a special dinner. 2 nights a week, wine and all, you know. I'll go Tuesdays, you go Thursdays.
You would suggest that. You know, I might be able to fake an orgasm, but you can fake a whole relationship.
Sex is one of the most beautiful, natural, wholesome things money can buy.
That's disgusting. Sex without love is a meaningless experience.
Yeah, but as meaningless experiences go, that's pretty damn good.
You know, I wish I was bisexual. Then I could have doubled my chances.
Doubled your chances for what? You double nothing, you still have nothing.
You have only 2 drives, sex and hunger. And when you get that gleam in your eye, I make you a sandwich.
Well, I guess I'll just have to put a mirror over our kitchen table.
Having sex is like playing bridge.
If you don't have a good partner, you better have a good hand. You want to go see Lysistrata at the Rotunda?
Yeah. I'll go Friday and you can go Sunday.
So what I'd like to ask you guys is, what do you see yourselves doing in the next few years? What is the next goal for Iron Age Theater?
I think one thing is to continue to produce. I think that's the goal of every theater, is to find the cash and find the work and continue to produce. But I think also one of the things we're really looking forward to is extending some of these digital ideas here and trying to find other ways to incorporate that pseudo site-specific work that comes with something like Fringe Rates. We've also entered into a collaboration with PDC, and we have a playwright in resident with us right now, and as a result we're looking to continue the production of new work, and I think that that's something we're really interested in. Classic work and new work back to back and season after season.
Really important to be able to do the both.
Right.
And to introduce new media to it, so it's really great. So thank you all for being here. Please check out Iron Age Theater's website to find out more about the company. It is www.ironagetheater.org. That's theater with an R-E. And check it out. Thank you guys again.
A real pleasure.
Being
Thank
here.
you for the time.
Thank you. And thank you to our audience for joining us for the Philadelphia Cultural Forum on CCP-TV, Community College of Philadelphia's educational channel. Thanks. We'll see you next time.